6 months later. The trial was front-page news for weeks. Warden Castellanos. Officer Vance. 14 other officials. All convicted. All facing life sentences. The trafficking network was dismantled. 23 women were recovered and returned to their families. 7 more were still missing, but the search continued. I testified for 3 days. So did Sonia. So did Maya. Our immunity held. Our protection held. And when it was over, they gave us new names and new lives. I never went back to finance. Instead, I work for a non-profit that advocates for prison reform. Funny how life works. The system that tried to destroy me gave me purpose. Sonia reunited with her daughter. They live somewhere quiet now. Last I heard, she was teaching self-defense classes and writing a memoir. Maya started therapy. She's rebuilding piece by piece. Some trauma doesn't heal quickly, but she's trying. Officer Reeves received a commendation for her role in breaking the case. She left corrections afterward. Said she couldn't work in a system that had enabled such horrors. I respect that. Sometimes I still wake up at 3:47 a.m., thinking I hear screaming. Sometimes I count seconds in my head for no reason. Sometimes I press my back against walls just to feel something solid behind me. Prison leaves marks that don't show on skin. But I survived. We all did. And that matters. Because survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about staying human. About keeping enough of yourself intact that when you finally get out, there's still something worth saving. The prison still stands. Different warden now. Different guards. But the walls remain the same. And inside those walls, women are still counting seconds. Still planning. Still surviving. I hope they make it out. I hope they find their Elena. Their Reeves. Their moment when the lights come on and rescue arrives. But even if they don't, I hope they remember this. The quiet ones are always watching. Always planning. And sometimes, the woman who never speaks is the most dangerous one in the room. The first rule of C Block is silence after count. Not quiet. Complete silence. The second rule is you don't ask why. Jackie explains this without explaining anything. She does it during yard time, which in C Block means 45 minutes in a concrete box with a mesh ceiling and 4 other women who all look at you like you're meat they're deciding how to cut. I learned their names through observation, not introduction. Sonia, black woman, late 30s, missing her right pinky finger. She stands closest to the drain in the yard corner. I'll find out later it's because that's where the guards can't see, and that's where transactions happen. Kim, Asian woman, early 40s, never makes eye contact. She counts under her breath constantly. I recognize the behavior. OCD, probably untreated for years. In here, mental illness isn't diagnosed, it's weaponized. Petra, Latina, maybe 25 but looks 15. Covered in tattoos that tell a story of gang affiliation on the outside. She's the muscle, even though she's the smallest. It's in the way she moves. Like violence is just another language she speaks fluently. And Jackie, always watching. You'll work in the laundry, Jackie tells me during my second day. Chen will process the paperwork. I haven't requested a job change. You don't request anything in C Block. You accept what you're assigned. The laundry is in the basement. For industrial machines, steam that makes breathing difficult, and the constant smell of detergent that can't quite cover the smell of sweat and desperation. 3 women work here full-time. Now 4. My supervisor is a guard named Officer Trent. 50-something, overweight, with hands that linger too long when he hands you supply requisitions. He looks at me for 30 seconds too long when I arrive for my first shift. "You Voss," he says. "Yes, sir." "Jackie said you'd be good at following instructions." The way he says it makes my skin crawl. But I nod, because that's what you do. You nod, and you survive. The work is brutal. 12-hour shifts lifting wet sheets that weigh more than they should. The machines break down constantly, but you can't stop. The prison runs on schedules, and laundry waits for no one. On my 3rd day, Sonia shows me the real job. Between the 2nd and 3rd washing machine, there's a gap just wide enough to fit your arm. The tile behind is loose. Behind the tile is a hollow space. Every Tuesday and Friday, Sonia says quietly while pretending to check a machine setting, "You check this space at exactly 2:17 p.m. If there's something inside, you take it. You bring it to the folding station. You hide it in the 7th pillowcase from the left in the clean pile. What am I moving? Sonia's expression doesn't change. You don't ask questions. You just do the job, or you end up like Reese. I want to ask what happened to Reese. I want to ask who I'm working for. I want to ask if there's a way out of this that doesn't end with me face down in a cell with "unfortunate accident" stamped on my death certificate. Instead, I say, understood. That night in my cell, I finally understand why they moved me. I'm not being punished. I'm being recruited. And refusal isn't an option. I think about my daughter, Lily. She's 14 now. I haven't heard her voice in 2 years. My mother stopped bringing her for visits after Lily asked why I killed Daddy. How do you explain to a child that sometimes watching someone die is an act of mercy? That sometimes the monster isn't the person in the prison cell? I think about the phone number on the commissary receipt. A lawyer, supposedly. Someone who might reopen my case if I had new evidence, new testimony, anything that could shave years off my sentence. But evidence requires cooperation. Testimony requires witnesses. And in C Block, witnesses don't live long enough to testify. The Tuesday package is small. Wrapped in plastic, about the size of a deck of cards. I don't open it. I don't touch it longer than necessary. I follow instructions exactly as Sonia described. At 2:17 p.m., I check the space. The package is there. I move it to the pillowcase. At 4:30 p.m., when the afternoon laundry goes to distribution, the package is gone. Officer Trent watches me the entire time. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't need to. His eyes are enough. On Friday, there are 2 packages. On Tuesday of the next week, there are 3. The pattern becomes routine. Check, move, wait. Don't think about what's inside. Don't calculate the prison time for trafficking. Don't imagine the phone call to your daughter explaining why your sentence just became life without parole. Just survive. Jackie finds me during yard time on Thursday. You're doing good work, she says. I don't respond. Reese had a problem, Jackie continues, like we're discussing the weather. She got curious. Started asking questions. Started thinking she could negotiate her own terms. She lets that hang in the air between us. You're smarter than that, aren't you, Mara? I meet her eyes for the first time. Really look at her. And I see something I recognize. Fear. Not of me. Not of the guards. But of whoever's above her in this chain. Whoever's running this operation from outside these walls. I'm a survivor, I say finally. Jackie smiles. Good. Because you're about to have a decision to make. The decision arrives on a Monday. Officer Chen finds me during breakfast, which is unusual. Guards don't interrupt meals unless it's serious. Medical emergency. Disciplinary action. Or something worse. You have a visitor, she says. I haven't had a visitor in 6 years. My mother is dead. My daughter won't speak to me. I have no friends on the outside, no family who claims me. There's a mistake, I tell Chen. No mistake. Let's go. The visiting room in C Block is different from general population. No communal space with multiple tables. Just small rooms with bulletproof glass and telephone receivers that never quite work right. The woman waiting for me is maybe 30. Blonde, professional, carrying a briefcase that costs more than my entire prison commissary budget for a year. She doesn't look like family. She looks like money. Mrs. Voss, she says when I pick up the phone. My name is Amanda Rios. I'm an attorney with Morrison and Amp, Blake. I don't say anything. I represent a client who has taken an interest in your case. They believe you may have been wrongfully convicted. They'd like to help you appeal. Every alarm in my body starts screaming. Nobody helps prisoners for free. Nobody takes interest in old cases without a reason. Especially not cases like mine, where the evidence was clear and the sentence was generous compared to what it could have been. Why? I ask. Amanda Rios smiles. It's the smile of someone who's been practicing it in a mirror. My client prefers to remain anonymous. But they believe justice was not served in your trial. They believe your daughter deserves to have her mother back. She says my daughter's name like she knows her. Like she's met Lily. And that's when I know this isn't about justice. This is about leverage. What do you want? Cooperation, Amanda says. Simple cooperation. There are some individuals currently incarcerated in this facility who have information about a matter my client is investigating. We need someone on the inside who can gather that information. You want me to be a snitch? I want you to help yourself. Help us, and we can file an appeal that will actually go somewhere. We have resources, connections, judges who owe favors. You could be out in 18 months. 18 months. Versus 17 more years. I think about Lily. 14 now. She'll be 16 in 18 months. Still young enough to remember me. Still young enough to rebuild something resembling a relationship. And if I say no? Amanda's smile doesn't change, but something in her eyes does. Then you continue your current employment. Though I should mention that federal investigators are currently building a case about drug trafficking in this facility. When that case breaks, and it will break, everyone involved will be looking at additional decades. Unless, of course, they've already established cooperation with authorities. She's offering me a choice between two betrayals. Betray Jackie and the C-block system, or betray myself to a system that will destroy me anyway. Who do you want information on? I ask. Jackie Crane. We need documentation of her network. Names, dates, quantities. Everything. I hang up the phone without answering. Chen escorts me back to C-block in silence. That night, I can't sleep. The cell feels smaller than usual. The walls seem to pulse with the weight of decisions I haven't made yet. At 2 a.m., I hear footsteps. Not guard boots. Not the measured stride of Jackie. These are quick, urgent. Petra appears at my cell door. Her face is bruised, fresh blood still on her lip. You talked to a lawyer today, she says. Not a question. A statement. Which means someone was watching. Someone is always watching. Yes. What did she want? I could lie. I'm good at lying. 8 years of marriage to a violent man taught me how to make my face say one thing while my mind screamed another. But Petra isn't asking because she doesn't know. She's asking to see if I'll tell the truth. She wants me to give information on Jackie. Petra nods slowly. And are you going to? I don't know yet. She studies me for a long moment. Reese talked to a lawyer. 2 days later, she killed herself. You understand? I understand. Petra turns to leave, then stops. For what it's worth, Jackie didn't order it. She tried to protect Reese. But there are people above Jackie. People who don't care about loyalty or protection or any of that shit. They care about the operation. And when the operation is threatened. She doesn't finish the sentence. She doesn't need to. The next morning during yard time, Jackie pulls me aside. I know about the lawyer, she says. I wait. I also know what she offered you. 18 months. Appeal. Your daughter. Jackie looks tired. For the first time since I met her, she looks like an actual human being instead of a prison survival mechanism wearing skin. You think I'm going to tell you not to take it, Jackie continues. You think I'm going to threaten you or hurt you or make it impossible for you to choose freedom. Aren't you? No. Jackie sits on the concrete bench, and I notice her hands are shaking slightly. I'm going to tell you the truth. You take that deal, you become a federal witness. They'll protect you until you testify. Then they'll relocate you. New identity, new life, maybe even get to see your daughter. But 18 months from now, you'll still be you. You'll still wake up at 3 a.m. wondering if you made the right choice. You'll still see the faces of the women you destroyed to save yourself. And your daughter will grow up knowing her mother bought her freedom with other people's lives. Jackie stands up, and when she looks at me, I see something I didn't expect. Pity. There's no good choice here, Mara. There's just choices. And they all cost something. She walks away, leaving me alone with the weight of a decision that will define the rest of my life. That night, I take out the commissary receipt with the phone number. The lawyer. The one who might help without strings attached. I stare at those digits until they blur. I think about Lily. About the kind of woman I want her to believe her mother is. And I think about Reese. About dying alone in a cell with suicide written on paperwork no one will ever question. At 9 p.m., I make my choice. I tear the receipt into pieces so small they can't be reassembled. I flush them down the toilet. Watch them disappear. Then I walk to the common area where I know Petra will be. I sit down across from her. I need to talk to Jackie, I say. Petra's expression doesn't change. About what? About Amanda Rios. About the people she represents. About everything. You're choosing wrong, Petra says quietly. I'm choosing survival. That's what Reese thought too. The meeting happens in the laundry room. After hours. Just me, Jackie, and the sound of pipes dripping in the walls. Jackie listens while I tell her everything. The appeal offer. The 18 months. The request for names and dates and documentation. I don't leave anything out. When I finish, she's quiet for a long time. You could have taken it, she finally says. I know. You could be out in 18 months. Back with your daughter. I know that too. So why are you here? I think about how to answer that. About how to explain that some choices aren't about logic or survival or even love. They're about being able to live with yourself after the choice is made. Because I've spent 8 years being someone I'm not, I say. I've been the grieving widow who killed her husband. The bad mother who abandoned her child. The model prisoner who follows all the rules. None of it's true, but I played the part because that's what you do. I meet Jackie's eyes. I'm not playing anymore. Amanda Rios wants information? Fine. But she's going to get information on her terms, not mine. And neither are the people above you, whoever they are. Jackie almost smiles. You're going to get yourself killed. Probably. But at least I'll die being myself. And what is that, exactly? Honest. The word hangs between us like a weapon. Jackie reaches into her pocket and pulls out a folded piece of paper. This is a name. A real lawyer. Not like the one on your commissary receipt. This one actually gives a shit about wrongful convictions. She's helped 3 women in this facility. Got one of them out completely. I take the paper but don't open it. Why are you helping me? Because Reese asked me the same question you did. Why not take the deal? Why not save yourself? You know what I told her? I shake my head. I told her to take it. I told her freedom was more important than loyalty. I told her I'd understand. Jackie's voice cracks slightly. She took my advice. She met with the feds. She gave them everything. And 3 days later, she was dead in her cell. Not because I ordered it. Because the people running this operation don't care about my orders. They only care about silence. So what changed? You did. You chose different. You chose dangerous. And for some reason I can't explain, that makes me want to help you. Jackie stands to leave, then pauses. The lawyer's name is Sarah Chen. Officer Chen's sister. That's why Chen moved you to C Block. She's been trying to find someone brave enough to talk. Someone willing to blow this whole thing open from the inside. My mind races. Officer Chen is working with me. With a handful of guards who are tired of being part of a system that eats people alive. We can't get you out. We can't promise you safety. But we can get the truth on record. We can make sure that when this collapses, it takes down everyone. Including the people who killed Reese. I look at the paper in my hand. What do I do? Document everything. Every package. Every time. Every name. Sarah Chen will file it with the State Attorney General. When they raid this facility, and they will, you'll be protected as a witness. Might even get some time knocked off. How much time? Jackie shrugs. Does it matter? She's right. It doesn't. Because this was never about freedom. It was about truth. One more thing, Jackie says from the doorway. Your husband. The one you supposedly killed. You want to know why I believe you didn't do it? I nod. Because killers don't look like you. They look like me. You've got guilt, but it's the wrong kind. You feel guilty for surviving, not for killing. I've seen the difference. She leaves before I can respond. That night, I start writing. Every detail. Every transaction. Every name. I hide the pages inside the spine of my copy of The Stranger, because there's a certain poetry in using Camus to document the absurdity of prison justice. 2 weeks later, the raid happens. Federal agents, state police, internal affairs. They sweep through C Block like a hurricane, and when it's over, half the guards are in handcuffs and most of the inmates are being transferred. I'm moved to a women's facility 3 hours north. Minimum security. Because cooperating witnesses get better treatment, even when the cooperation doesn't immediately mean freedom. Officer Chen visits me there. Brings me a message from her sister, the lawyer. She's reviewing your case, Chen says. She thinks there's enough for an appeal. Maybe not freedom, but maybe parole eligibility in 5 years instead of 17. 5 years is not 18 months. It's not the promise Amanda Rios made. But it's honest time. Earned time. Time I can live with. And my daughter? I ask. Chen hesitates. Your mother-in-law has custody. She's not answering letters. But Sarah thinks that might change if we can get some of the conviction vacated. Show that you were a victim too. I wasn't a victim, I say quietly. I was a witness. There's a difference. Chen doesn't argue. That night in my new cell, I take out the photograph of Lily. She's 10 in this picture. Smiling at a birthday party I didn't attend because I was already in county lockup awaiting trial. I wonder what she looks like now. If she smiles the same way. If she thinks about me. If she hates me. I wonder if she'll ever understand that I chose truth over freedom because I wanted her to have a mother worth knowing. Not a mother who bought her way out on other people's backs. The cell door is different here. Lighter. Less final. But it's still a door, and it still locks from the outside. I lie on my bunk and count. 42 steps to the checkpoint in my old prison. 79 to C block entrance. 1,825 days until possible parole. Numbers I can control. Outside my window, I can see the fence. Beyond it, freedom. Beyond that, a daughter who may never forgive me. But I can forgive myself now. And in here, that's the only freedom that matters. The cell door clicks shut for count. I close my eyes. And I wait. Because that's what prison teaches you. Not hope. Not redemption. Not justice. Just patience. And the cold understanding that some choices don't save you. They just make you worth saving.